in any area of your life, your marriage, your parenting, your spiritual walk, your money, is an intentional act. No one accidentally wins. Super Bowl will be in a few weeks, and at the end of the Super Bowl, there'll be confetti, and the reporter will run over and ask the guy, how did you win the Super Bowl? He never says, I just got off the bus, I don't know what happened. It's an intentional act. Since he was 6 years old, he's been probably playing that position or something like it all the way up through college, and he's one of the few that gets out of college and goes to the big leagues, to the NFL, right? And actually gets to play at that level. It's not an accident to win. It's not an accident to be married today, 50 years. It requires extreme patience and understanding, which is what my wife said for me to say, so I did. If you want to get healthy, it's an intentional act. No one accidentally gets in shape. If you want a great marriage, if you want to build some wealth so you can be outrageously generous, it's an intentional act. Over the years of teaching this stuff for the last 30 years, I've spoken in a lot of different settings. And speaking of the NFL, I was speaking for an NFL team. They do a thing called rookie camp, and they bring in these rookies who are making more money than they've ever made in their lives. And their eyes are full of stars and dollar signs and Mercedes-Benz and houses for their mama and so on, right? And they've got all these big ideas, and they have no idea that money's really not going to go that far. And so they bring me in to spray cold water on the whole idea because I'm good at it. So the first thing I explain to them is NFL stands for not for long. The average NFL career is 3.7 years. And 78% of them leave the league permanently physically disabled. And the divorce rate is fourfold the national average, and within 10 years, the bankruptcy rate is fourfold the national average. So it's not a great blessing when you hear those statistics, but you got a choice in the matter if you're the son, the daughter sitting there. It wouldn't be a daughter in this case, but I mean, if you're the guy sitting there, you've got a choice. So I finished the talk. Walked them through the whole thing, all the Ramsey stuff that we talk about, common sense, what grandma said, what God says in the Bible about money, which turns out to be the same things, right? I finished the talk, and leaning against the back wall is this guy. Now, I'm a football fan, but with their helmet, I know if they got their name on the back, I know who it is, right? But I don't know I pass them in the store. They're big, but you probably play football. Yeah, you have no idea. And so, but there's a guy at the back, and he's like, Hall of Famer. I recognized him. He's one of those guys. And he snuck in the rookie camp to hear the talk. And so I kind of called on him, and he's obviously a veteran player. And I said, so tell these guys, am I right? He goes, oh, you're so right. He goes, the number of you that'll be standing back here at the back of the room at my age is very small. So take advantage of the money while it's coming in. And he gave good follow-up talk, right? So I get to the end of it, and I'm talking to him back there because he was dead on, very articulate. And I was talking to this guy, a future Hall of Famer. I can't say his name because I don't have permission to tell the story. I didn't ask him, but it's still a great story, so I'm telling it anyway. But I said, all that stuff aside, I said, I watch football, and I'm a mediocre at best athlete in a couple of things, not at football, but I as a fan, can I ask you a question? And he said, sure. And I said, well, it may be one of those weird fan questions. I'll warn you ahead of time. And he goes, it's okay. We're just me and you hanging out. We don't have to, if I tell you, if it's stupid, I'll just tell you. And I said, okay. I said, so you get paid like $10 million, $20 million, $30 million a year, whatever it is, somewhere in there, to do one thing, catch a football. How is it, pray tell, that if you've ever seen a quarterback, if you stood on the sidelines of the NFL when they're throwing a football, it's so fast. If you've ever caught a football, it hurts terribly. They can total a car with a football. The speed is blinding. It's a physical act. That's why it's amazing. I said, so if he throws the ball so hard it drills a hole in your soul, it hits you in the numbers, and you're paid $25 million to catch a football, and that's your only thing you do in life. How is it that you would drop the football? Because as a fan, I'm going, you just hit him in the numbers. He goes, oh, that's easy. Happens all the time. I went, oh, good. He's not going to kill me. He goes, just two things. He said, both of them come down to one thing. He said, it's loss of focus. And I said, okay, so what's the two things? He goes, well, that's the things that cause you to lose your focus. Okay, this is getting philosophical. I like this. Probably theological. It'll probably preach. And he said, so the first thing causes you to lose your focus is fear. He said, he goes, I weigh 210, 220 maybe, 6 foot and some change. And when I go up after a ball, the guy that's going to hit me weighs 3 1/4, 375, and he is running at the speed of a Kia. And when have you ever heard, he said, Dave, you ever heard the announcer say, oh, he dropped the ball because he heard footsteps? He goes, that ain't a metaphor. You hear Sasquatch coming. Boom, 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 boom. Fee, fi, fo, fum. Boom, boom, boom. Crush. I'm going to be in an ice bath tomorrow. And 6 massages later, I'm going to try to walk out onto the practice field and try to get ready to do that again next week. He goes, in a nanosecond, your brain tells you this is getting ready to happen, and you drop the football. So shut up. Fear causes you to lose your focus. Greed will cause you to lose your focus. Fear and greed will cause you to lose your focus. Now, not greed like I want money, but greed like I'm celebrating something that I haven't yet earned. Fear, greed, these things will mess you up. When you sense disaster, when you've got fear, your brain shuts down. Dr. John Deloney talks about that all the time here at Ramsey. The parts of your brain shut down because you are in fight or flight. You got to get out of the way. The car is getting ready to run over you. You don't need to have a discussion about what type of car it is. Is it electric? Is it a Tesla? I know. Get out of the road. Your brain shuts down. Your thinking skills, your higher thinking skills, your critical thinking skills go away, and you flee so you don't get hit by the car. You don't get eaten by the saber tooth. That's where it comes from, that part of your brain, right? And so this idea that fear is okay, and we become fear junkies in this culture. Just look at the news channels. Everything is something to make you angry, greedy, afraid. Angry, greedy, afraid. These are not fruits of the Spirit. Angry, greedy, afraid. Yeah, all that stuff, right? Can't even say it anymore. It's so bad. But this fear thing is real, and the numbers are devastating. And we've been fighting fear from COVID pandemic to quarantine and losing a job. First we thought we were going to die, then we thought we were going to not have a job because some people thought we were going to die. And then you couldn't get nothing, and then you could get everything, but it was all overpriced. And then you can't get nothing, but now it's overpriced again. And I'm never going to get a house. I'm never going to get a house. And we get in this crazed mode. The anxiety level is so high. And with that going on for so long now, we've gone through like 3 or 4 events back to back to back. Now we're in this inflation mess. We've got this divisiveness and this anger in this country where everyone's they cut people completely out of their lives because of who they think they might have voted for. It's nuts. 82% of Americans are somewhat or extremely worried about their student loan payments, but don't worry, Joe Biden forgave them. Oh, wait a minute. Supreme Court said, hold my beer. We'll see. So the numbers seem like they're stacked up against us, and this is a weird paradox. All of this negative fear and everything else around the whole idea of money and about our futures, and yet you cannot get a parking space at the mall or a reservation at a restaurant. That's a weird paradox. I mean, if you went to Walmart, you went to even a high-end store, you got no idea that anybody's worried about the economy. They're in there spending like Congress. I mean, they are going bananas. And it's just this weird paradox, but these are the actual numbers. This is what's going on. So what happens in a situation like this is you get to the point you say, I'm sick of this. I'm tired of this. And my great friend, the fabulous motivator from a whole nother decade or 2 ago, Les Brown, said, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's when you finally say the magic words of transformation.